I could never live in a van. But to be able to dive into Natalie's world, I had to rent one. Her inspiration was so impact, it led me to even get my own map. Here's the deal. I'm off to a 200-kilometer journey into the woods, bringing Natalie's world into life. Along the way, we're going to explore the essence of her character, her filmmaking skills. We'll light a fire, sip some coffee, and delve into why her Borderless series was a hit. So buckle up for another episode of Creator Spotlight.
So after the first episode of Creator Spotlight, I threw the ball in you guys' court to pick the next review target. And you guys tossed back a bunch of names, and Natalie stood out with the video that ventured to save my life. And I started watching that video, and all I can say is talk about love at first frame.
I didn't know it in this moment, but everything was about to end.
I was completely mesmerized. As she began weaving her story, I was just another fan, utterly captivated by her stunning cinematography and storytelling. Right then, I knew she was the next big talent to spotlight. But hey, to truly dive into her channel, I had to switch up my lens and get a fresh perspective. So, to get the full Natalie experience, I took a trip down memory lane, binge watching all her old videos. Many of these videos targeted for an audience I don't typically belong to, like teenagers on a bubbly, happy trip.
Not usually my cup of tea, to be honest with you, but I persisted to keep watching because I want to understand Natalie better. Now, if I was to, cram her artistry into just 2 words, and that would be squashing an ocean into a bottle, but if I really had to, pick 2 words that would describe Natalie's art from the best, I would say, well put together, and raw and authentic.
The drone just crashed up there. So the drone is stuck on the tallest tree, and we tried to climb the trees to go shake it up. Almost feels impossible, very dangerous. So we're gonna try and see if we can hit it with the FPV. So the FPV attempt was not successful. Please be careful, Rafa.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Take your time. Take your time. Rafa, we have to do this before they call the cops. I know you can't feel your hands, man. Come on, man. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Woohoo. Okay. She's fine. Ce l'hai fatta? Yeah! I can't believe that I'm doing this to review the freaking YouTube channel. Rafa, can you hold the door? Feels nice.
All right, where were we? So let's break down filmmaking in 3 essential elements. If we were to do that, that would be cinematography, writing, and editing, right? Now, how do you rank them? Which one do you put at the top? For me personally, cinematography was always at the top because I was always after that perfect shot. And my shots, when I started my YouTube channel and when I started to realize the importance of telling stories, you soon realize that these are just shots with no intent behind it. There's no story to it. But every artist is different. That's completely normal, right? We all have our strong aspects when it comes to these 3 elements. That's fine. It's like a sport, you play at a specific position.
But in the world of YouTube, I soon realized that just having visually stunning shots isn't enough. You kind of need to be skilled in all 3 areas, at least to a certain degree, to truly make an impact. Natalie, in my opinion, exemplifies this. She's an incredible storyteller first and a cinematographer second. Don't get me wrong, her cinematography is impressive, and I'll dive deeper into that when discussing her Borderless series. But for the majority of her YouTube career, crafting cinematic shots wasn't her main focus. I mean, it took her 8 years to invest in a full-frame camera, which really speaks volume about her priorities.
Now with the perspective I have, I definitely place writing at the top, then for me comes cinematography and editing.
Creators like Natalie, along with those who share Casey Neistat's style, have found immense success primarily through their exceptional storytelling abilities. This is a crucial lesson in content creation, the undeniable power of a well-told story.
One of the reasons Natalie is such a good storyteller, in my opinion, is because she's always recording. I mean, always. And matter of fact, I feel like I'm terrible at that, and that's why my storytelling hasn't been so appealing like hers. When I'm on a trip, I usually grab the fun parts, and I tend to miss out on all the stuff that goes wrong on a trip, which we all know it's a huge part of that trip and adventure, and that's what really makes that story. Because I've been on trips where I got pulled over by the cops, I got into an accident, my car got stuck into a ditch, and I never recorded any of that stuff because I was just so overwhelmed with the stress of the event. But I should definitely stop doing that and start recording to tell better stories.
Great creators like Natalie have a way of making storytelling seem effortless. But there's a lot of unseen effort behind it. For instance, look at the shot coverage here when her car breaks down. It's easy to overlook the effort involved in setting up the shot under such circumstances. It's easy to miss how crucial this is, but it's actually one of the secret sauces to her amazing storytelling. She's been nailing this skill for years, and it totally shows in her work. Now I want to start exploring the essence of Natalie's character, which I believe plays a key part in her success. And I want to start talking about her amazing self-confidence.
Most people who talk in front of the camera, they tell you it's like climbing a mountain. And for me personally, after 2 years of being in front of the camera, I can tell you I still got some climbings left to do. But this is Natalie at 13.
When you move an animal out of its natural habitat, it's most likely going to shrivel up and die. Without my phone, I don't know who
I went back and I watched her videos all the way back to 8 years ago, and I'm thankful that she kept those videos online. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known this about her.
To think about stuff. What I've been thinking about lately is what I'm gonna do with my channel and what I want to
This
do.
was Natalie after uploading on her YouTube channel for almost every week for 3 years, I believe, and she took a pause to have these deep thoughts about her career at such a young age, and the way she sees the world and spills her thought as a kid at that age is mind-bogglingly mature.
Kind of makes me wonder where I was when I was 15.
And then it hit me.
The truth of the matter is, women rev up their maturity engines a lot faster than us guys. This is not just talk, it's legit fact, and Natalie is the perfect example of that.
Another characteristic of hers that makes her mature is her super thoughtful way of making decisions. Even as a kid, choosing her first camera wasn't a snap decision for her.
Spend the next couple days doing more research and just looking more into cameras before I just buy it and spend a bunch of money on it.
I just make any rational decisions. I definitely want to sleep on it and see how I feel in the morning about this.
To this day, my wife gets mad at me for making fast decisions. It's just a bad habit I've had since I was a kid. But Natalie, she's all about weighing her options, and in my opinion, that just leads to some seriously smart moves. She calls it overthinking, but honestly, it's like her superpower. For someone so young, that's pretty darn impressive. Let's talk about her dedication to her craft. Natalie started uploading videos at just 13, and guess what? She kept at it, uploading every single week for 3 whole years. That's some serious passion for cameras, editing, and sharing her story. She always had that entertainer vibe, doing things her way. Up until she was 16, her channel was buzzing with weekly uploads. Then she hit the brakes. But not because she was tired. Nope, she needed to think things through, figure out where her channel was headed.
Before I break down Natalie's filmmaking magic, let's dive into and break down what kind of artist she really is.
In today's world, being a creator is like the new rock star job. Open your phone and it's creator central. All sorts and types. But here's the thing. I'd say about 99% of these creators are in it for the monetization game. It's like this shiny object we all chase, sometimes steering us away from the true artists we could be.
I myself am a victim of that.
I even made a detailed video how chasing those dollar signs shifted my focus as a creator, making me chase brands rather than sticking to my true passion.
Natalie is a part of that 1%. These type of artists are like unicorns these days. They're so rare to find because she's got a vision, a clear vision, and everything she does is about bringing that vision into life, even if it means pouring countless hours into it without earning a dime. And here's a fun fact, Natalie's videos still gets copyrighted to this day, because if there's a song on Spotify that matches that vision that I told you about, she's gonna use it to bring that video into life the way she wanted to. And you just can't help to put respect on that type of dedication and authenticity. Now let's go get some coffee. What do you say?
So, believe it or not, we had a little incident. The van broke down. This is a rental van, like I told you before, and I'm not into cars. Rafa knows more than I do, but we were driving, and then all of a sudden we started seeing smoke coming out of the car. So we stopped, we called the owner, and the car unfortunately cannot be moved. And we've called the tow trucking company, and they're on their way, and they told us that they're going to be here for another 2 or 3 hours. So, like I promised you before, like what I'm learning from these wonderful creators, I'm getting in the habit of filming all these bad things, if you say. So, you know, we keep the adventure going, and I'm going to keep reviewing Natalie's channel. I'm not going to let this thing stop me. I'm going to walk around here even though it's cold. We have to change our wardrobe because the car system doesn't heat up. But it is what it is.
Salud. Salud.
All right, I want to talk about one more characteristic of Natalie that I like before we move on to the next chapter, and that is her adventurous spirit. Her adventurous spirit is particularly inspiring to me. In the second episode of Borderless, we see, despite having no prior experience, she undertook the ambitious project of renovating a van from scratch.
I found this remarkable because as a 4-year-old man, let's say if I wanted to renovate the inside of this van, I guarantee you I'll probably get someone to do it for me because I just don't know how to do it, and I don't have the expertise, and I don't have the patience. So you gotta give it to Natalie for being so tough to, you know, going forward of wanting to do this thing on her own. And what really blew my mind is how she approached this with the mentality that she approached it with. Let's hear what she had to say.
To me, like in my head, this was so much more than like just a van build. Not only was this one of the most like self-empowering, like liberating experiences of my life, but I also feel like it was the most like isolated I've ever been. Really like forced me to embrace it and kind of like be independent and channel it into something constructive, which was the van.
You see that? Her ability to transform these feelings of isolation into a constructive form is a testament of her toughness. Rather than being overwhelmed by loneliness, she channels it into creating something meaningful, the van build. This just shows a remarkable capacity for turning challenges into opportunities for growth. I know I'm breaking this video down for you guys, but I know deep down you already know all these things. That's why you love her, that's why you love watching her, that's why you subscribe to her story. And that is why all of us can't get enough of Natalie on screen. Perfect. All right. I just got a call. They're going to be here in 20 minutes, so.
I believe Natalie took the longest course to success when it comes to YouTube, I would say, you know, and that's because she started so young, and I praise her for her choice, you know. She really didn't care if people were watching. She just shared her story, and it doesn't seem like she was chasing a finish line or wanting to have a silver button. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen any content of her silver button. I've seen her in the back of her room, and she doesn't really pay attention to it that much. I'm talking about the YouTube silver button. And I'm telling you right now, when I get mine, you're gonna see it often.
She was all about sharing slices of her life. And in the meantime, she was getting better with every upload. That takes some real patience. Imagine crafting and sharing a video every week for years without any significant attention to your channel. Talking about tunnel vision. It's true when they say it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I believe when you have this mindset, where you share your life, everything that's about you, without you even knowing, your content will be authentic and raw. One word that totally nails Natalie's art, like I said before, it's well put together. And here's a scoop on what that means. Take her video, I Became Everything I Ever Wanted. It's like the crown jewel. I believe this is the first video I watched of her, and it hooked me so deep that I went on a Natalie marathon, watching all her stuff from the past 8 years. And still, I circle back to this one. The intro, a solid 2-3 minutes of pure filmmaking gold. We're talking about a killer mix of sound, music, her own voice, some slick editing, spot-on timing, plus the whole dance of building suspense, and then a pause. Just pure mastery. And the story she tells, it's something that we've all chewed on since we were kids. What do we want to be when we grow up? Natalie dives headfirst into this, juggling the excitement and the weight of it all. She's on a quest, digging into her past, visiting her hometown, where she was born and where she started to make videos, just to get closer to that answer.
The reason I came back up here is to kind of just force myself to see my life right now from the eyes of my 13-year-old self. Because I think sometimes I forget that making videos full-time is all I ever wanted growing up. Like, this was my dream, and now here I am.
It's like a classic tale with a beginning, middle, and an end. Showing off not just her filmmaking chops, but also how she's a top-notch storyteller and a planner.
The video I Became Everything I Ever Wanted was the last video before the Borderless series began, and I believe we see a noticeable shift in Natalie's cinematography. Now, I notice these things because my eye is sensitive to cinematography, but we've known that she's always been a wizard when it comes to editing, storytelling, and sound design, but this is the first time we see her cinematography playing the same league as her other skills.
Yo, the car's here to get towed. I'm gonna say goodbye to this beautiful van.
Well, hello again. Have you ever had your car towed? It's not the best feeling in the world, right? Especially if you're out there filming an important project. Well, this time, instead of the usual unfortunate car towing story, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually happy the way things turned out the way they did, because I was able to film most of the things I need to film to tell the story to make this review. I mean, of course, I still had things on my shot list that I wasn't able to record, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I'm thrilled and I'm proud of myself with the way I handled things, because normally, the normal Sean would stop recording and get all stressed and trying to deal with the situation, but I kept filming, I kept recording, I kept telling the story, and I incorporated whatever happened that day in this video. This was my first time doing it. I hope I don't bore you, but this is something that I have to do to tell better stories inspired by the likes of Natalie Lynn. And now, it is time to talk about the series that put Natalie Lynn in many of you guys' radar. So without further ado, let's start talking about the wonderful Borderless series. The Borderless series is a remarkable showcase of Natalie's evolution as a creator, particularly in the terms of cinematography and editing.
So I guess I live out of a van now.
For example, her use of match cuts here, for instance, is a testament for her growing expertise in the editing field. And now she's filming with a full-frame camera for the most part of the series, if I'm not mistaken. A huge part of why Borderless is so successful, constantly pulling in around 500,000 views. One reason, in my opinion, is her move from a simple carpeted room to the vastness of the wilderness. Because she has the cinematic talent, but now her playground is a lot more versatile. It's not just the cool vintage style, those retro fonts and colors that draw you in the series. Once again, it's Natalie's storytelling skills that really hook you in. Let me tell you how. Right from the first episode, she sets up a goal, like buying a van, and she takes us on this journey. She's a teenager with big dreams for her first car, making a list of what she expects from her new home, shortlisting vans, and finally making the purchase. It's the way she unfolds this story, keeping us glued until we see her overcome challenges and reach her goal. Now let's open a bracket and talk about something that is usually overlooked. Natalie has certain qualities, like her appealing voice and her big blue eyes, that draw viewers in. That's just a fact. Attraction on screen is an important factor, and there's certain things that she does that seems cute, then if the rest of us, some of us, were about to do it, it wouldn't be as cute, or it wouldn't sound or look as cute. For example, when she's lying on the carpet, making this cute list in her van. It's just captivating, and it's cute in my opinion. But the sad truth is, not everybody looks good lying down on the carpet, looking into the camera. For example, if I was to lie down on that carpet over there, it would not be appealing. Let me show you. I've been trying to look for a new place where I can lie down and talk to you, and I think I just found it. Yep, doesn't quite hit the same, does it? Now, when I first created the first episode of Creator Spotlight, some comments were like, Cariza's beautiful, that's why she's getting all the views. Sure, looks can be appealing, but it's only a part of the equation. I would say it's about 5%, and that's why I'm giving it this much attention in this video. The real magic is her storytelling, her dedication, and the way she presents her journey. Don't forget that. In the second episode, the goal is to renovate the van. Right away, we have another story. Third episode, she's introducing a new character in this series, who is her travel companion. The Borderlands series eventually blossoms into Natalie's best work, and there's a lot to unpack about the how and the why of it, and I've actually picked out a couple of episodes that happen to be my favorite, and I'm going to zoom in into a few segments of these 2 episodes to be able to break down the brilliance of her filmmaking for you. The video The Adventure That Saved My Life starts with a shot that can only be described as cinematic magic, with the sound effects and the laughter and all.
I didn't know it in this moment, but everything was about to end.
And then the video starts by her literally sobbing. And like I said, this was the first episode, the first video that I saw from Natalie. And when I saw that, I really didn't know how to react because I really didn't know her that much. But I just saw another creator crying, and it made me sad because the crying was real, but I was kind of confused at the same time because I was like, how is she able to stay so emotional and at the same time showing the sequence in such a brilliant way? You know what I mean? The film blurs the line between reality and cinematic setup. While her crying is genuine, filled with real emotions, she also took the effort to set up the camera to capture these moments. The shot of empty walls, devoid of people, an exterior area shot from a window, which was probably taken with a drone. These are powerful in conveying a sense of loneliness. This artistic choice in portraying your feelings adds a profound depth to the film. Let's spotlight another one of my favorite episodes from the series. I just turned 20 and I feel alive. With the opening, Natalie steps out of a van and comes and sits on the middle of a road, blowing out her birthday candle. It's a neat way to link the video's title with the intro, giving us a comfy vibe. She quips about never imagining celebrating her birthday roadside. Next thing, she's literally doing it.
Ew, I ate a rock.
Oh my god.
Then bam, she flips the happy birthday vibe to something way dark, even touching on death. Right after she mentions it, the scene shifts. The colors go desaturated, and we hear a crowd's cow. Suddenly, we pull from a cheerful moment to something way more solemn. After this Netflix-style dark sequence, Natalie's back. Those big blue eyes reassuring everything's okay.
The concept of death is absolutely terrifying, at least in my opinion. Like, I'm terrified to die. It's just scary to...
She shares how van travel has made her value life's fleeting moments. And why bring up death in a birthday video?
On an adventure that literally could have resulted in my death.
Oh my god. I'm terrified, actually.
Well, she's setting the stage for her first birthday adventure. Something risky from her bucket list, giving us that adrenaline rush. It's a smart transition from a bubbly intro to a heart-pounding moment. Once again, showing off her filmmaking finesse. Now let's hit another segment of the same video. Natalie has always known the importance of entertaining her audience, and she's always been sharpening this skill of hers throughout her career, and she shows that once again in the stick fight scene in the woods. Let's have a look. She uses a soundtrack from Rocky, again ignoring copyright stuff to make her story pop. The result, a super engaging and memorable scene. Thanks to her music choice, slick editing, and how naturally she comes across on camera. The lead up to the fight, with his backstory and pre-fight interviews, really showcases her storytelling skills.
My name is Matthias. I'm 19 years old, and I've been training for this fight my entire life. Back. Get
Back. So my strategy for this competition is to actually...
It really makes me wonder, when did she learn all these skills at such a young age? Her ability to weave these elements together showcase a level of expertise and creativity that is just truly impressive for someone her age. I mean, she's just 20, she's 21. And to wrap this segment up, Natalie's persistence, self-reflection, and questioning is just admirable. But in the video of living in a van isn't what I expected, we see her break down, wondering if she's in the right place, doing the right thing.
I guess I had always just thought traveling was supposed to help you find yourself, so it was confusing when suddenly I felt the most lost I've ever been. I wouldn't trade this for anything, like there's not really anything else I'd rather be doing, but I also feel like I don't really know what I'm doing at all.
And I believe it is this specific characteristic of hers that is helping her grow. Her always criticizing her past, I believe, is the driving force behind her remarkable improvement in her craft. But in my opinion, she shouldn't be so hard on herself if you were to ask me. If I was to speak to Natalie, I would definitely encourage her to acknowledge her accomplishments and her skills that she's mastered at 21. I believe, Natalie, you possess enough expertise to teach a class at a university. Listen guys, I'm thrilled to be on a journey to be making these reviews about my colleagues in the YouTube industry. Even though they're way better than me in creating videos, it's all part of a learning process for myself. I created that first video because I was inspired by another filmmaker on YouTube, and I just wanted to simply express my feelings and share what I had learned with you guys. If I had to sum up YouTube, this whole YouTube thing, into 2 words, and you know that about me, I like to simplify things into 2 words, but if I really had to do that, I would say patience and learning. I can't really help you with the patience part, but I might be able to help you with the learning because I am learning myself. And it's not like the way I make these videos, it's not like I just go out and pick YouTubers to do it. They have to inspire me and I have to learn from them myself. And that's how I end up making these reviews, because I'm just sharing what I learned. But if you're a creator and you happen to be older than Natalie's and you might be overwhelmed by her success at such a young age, I would tell you, don't sweat it, because we all have our own separate paths in life. If you're watching this, chances are you've already found your passion or you're in the hunt for it. But once you find it, that's really when the real journey of learning and mastering your craft begins. I've always loved filmmaking and I was freelancing for most of my career until I stumbled upon YouTube a couple of years back. And despite all the hard work and sleepless nights and lame paychecks, I can tell you, to be honest with you, I'm the happiest I've ever been as a creator. There's something about YouTube that just pushes you to learn quicker, you know. By uploading every week, you know, you're making mistakes, but with every upload, you're just getting better. However, if you're not as young as Natalie, like myself, you might want to have the need to speed up this learning process, and I might just have the right tool for you. Recently, I've been using this cool site called Skillshare. I'm pretty sure you've heard the name of it before. It's like this treasure trove of online courses on everything you can think of. And honestly, it's been kind of my go-to for sharpening my skills in my free time. And guess what? The universe has a funny way of working things out, because they reached out to me for a collab, and this literally happened when I was writing the script for this video, and the timing was just so perfect, because I'm creating a video about learning and inspiration, and really there's no university for you to go to learn the things that we are learning. You either go to YouTube, but now if you're still unsure about your learning path in the creative world, Skillshare has created learning paths that will quickly turn you from a beginner into an expert. I've always had the desire to learn how to draw, and I didn't need to search any further because Skillshare offers this fantastic, concise course for people like me who want to begin. Now, instead of me spending a lot of money and attending classes at specific times during the cold winters in Germany, I can comfortably sit in my studio at home and learn how to draw. I will leave a link for you guys in the description. The first 500 people to use that link get 1 month free of Skillshare. Keep creating, my friends. See you in the next episode of Creator Spotlight.